Hey there, Good Crew. It is Yuri Hauswald. I am super excited for tonight's Yakkin with Yuri. I'm going to be talking with none other than 2019 Leadville 100 winner, Rose Grant, who I see has just joined. Send me an invite, Rose, and I will bring you onto the conversation. We're also going to have Leadville 100 first timer, first mountain bike race ever, with Allison Tetrick. See if we can't bring both of those guys on and answer any and all questions tonight. Let's see here. I'm sending you an invite, Rose. There we go. And let's try to see if we can't get Allie on here too. I hope everybody's having a great start to their week and is excited to hear about how these two think we can get more women riding bikes, tackling big events like the Leadville 100, and talk about some of the things that events are currently doing to help encourage more women and other folks who maybe are afraid to tackle large events like that to join. So, hopefully you have some questions queued up. I know some folks have sent in some questions already. And tonight's episode is sponsored by The Feed. We are working in conjunction with The Feed to help fuel folks out there doing Leadville. And if you go to the link in our bio, you can see exactly what is on course and find out how, let's see, here we go. I think we're going to bring them both on right now, hopefully. There you are, Rose. Magic. Yay, it worked. Now we just, oh, there's Allie too.
Sorry.
No, I thought it was me on my end.
No.
No?
No,
are you guys
me. We'll get into it, but I broke my phone, hence a black eye, so I needed to go, and Instagram's not like downloaded yet to my phone. It's okay. Go back to your song and dance. We like that better.
Yeah, do you? Well, we kind of have matching eyes going right now, Allie. I can't see your black eye, but I think I told you that I got stung by a bee yesterday out on my ride, so I've got a little bit of a black eye going right now, so solidarity. Rose, I'm assuming you're in Leadville right now getting ready?
I am. I'm in Copper Mountain.
And which is lower than Leadville. Tell folks why you might be lower than Leadville getting ready. Is that part of your plan?
A little. I actually have a family friend who has lodging accommodations for me here, so that's a big part. But I actually thought Copper Mountain was lower than it is, but it's still at 9,700 feet.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's maybe only slightly lower.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were to sleep lower, that would be just maybe better quality sleep, maybe feeling a little bit better, less of that high altitude sensations.
Yeah.
To sleep lower.
You know, before we jump into this, I forgot to introduce you to amazing people. So in case folks out there don't know, that was Rose Grant. She's a professional mom who is also happens to be a 5-time national champion in the marathon, and she's your 2019 Leadville winner, so she's got a big old target on her back this year. And I also want to mention that she rides for a really cool bike brand called Juliana, which was founded by Julie Furtado. Those who don't know who Julie Furtado is, she was one of the pioneering women in mountain biking, went to the first Olympics in 1996, won countless World Cups, and founded a brand designed specifically for women. So you could say she's sort of a front runner in that regard in terms of bike development stuff, making things specifically for bikes. So welcome, Rose. We'll talk more about you. And then Allie, she's a former All-American collegiate tennis player. People may not know that. I love touting that fact. Became a pro roadie, and then she's now a professional gravel racer. She won the Unbound in 2017 and set the overall course record. She's a 3-time gravel world champion. And this is her first time doing a gravel mountain bike race. Hi, Layla. I see you back there.
Hi. Oh, hi.
Yeah. How's it going? We're going to be talking about you today, actually. How's that make you feel?
So much for please don't come in and interrupt.
Right? This is the pro life, balancing being a pro mom with a pro athlete. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Allie, I love your tagline on your webpage. I've never picked up on it before, but it's actually sort of perfect sort of motto for tonight. Be bold, do work, ride bikes. Like that applies to a lot of things in life, but particularly I think what we're talking about tonight, the fact that you two are both about to tackle a behemoth of a mountain bike race, and then go do another crazy big event the next day. Allie, in your case, doing SBT, the lead boat. And then in your case, Rose, you are about to go tackle something that we're not sure any other pro woman has done before, race Leadville, and then go do the 6-day Breck Epic, which is a crazy hard mountain bike stage race just down the mountain from you. I know Todd Wells has done it, but I've never heard of any pro women doing it before. Are we correct on that?
Well, I haven't officially confirmed that, but I do believe so. And that's for a very good reason, by the way.
Right? I know. Yeah. Why would you want to race like the hardest 100-mile mountain bike race there is, and then the next day just go down the mountain and start one of the more difficult, but one of the most fun stage races, the Breck Epic, a 6-day romp through Breckenridge, which is truly incredible and really, really physically demanding. But what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, obviously, is Leadville and some pointers for Allie doing her first Leadville. But more importantly, I want to talk about how we get more women in bikes, how we get more kids like Layla riding bikes, how we get more kids like my niece riding bikes, and what things we currently see happening in the cycling space that are helping that, maybe things that we would love to help make happen in the future. So we'll circle back to that later. But first, Rose, like, how's your prep going? How are you feeling leading into this Leadville?
I've had a really solid and just very kind of slower but consistent build into this event. It was kind of my strategy and not doing longer races up until this point, just because I have a hard time getting a lot of volume in the early spring in Montana, still in winter. So I've been happy with it so far. Just I think I get to this point where it gets really close and I don't have time anymore. And then the confidence, I just have to kind of continue to remind myself that the work's been done, because the confidence, I don't know, I just today even, just like gets a little shaken, like, oh, my back is hurting or whatever, you're like, okay, just stay focused.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I never raced mountain bikes, Rose, but this will be my first mountain bike race. And race, I mean, I actually don't, like, this is the great thing is I don't have to race it, right? Like, I just want to survive. So,
I mean, that's a beautiful thing about being a rookie. I envy you,
Like, I just get a ride, but coming from my really deep road background as a time trialist, racing, worlds and all of that, like, and I think this will align to you. It's like control your controllables. And so a weekend, even me, Yuri, we can get into this, but I didn't prepare specifically for Leadville, or lead boat. Like, I'm just like riding, right?
You did buy a mountain bike though, which was a good first step.
I have a mountain bike. I'm getting fit on it on Wednesday. What could go wrong? It's a little small. It's hard to find bikes these days.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, I
That's
think
awesome.
like you'll get guys, like, control your controllables. And then, actually Andy Pruitt, whose body geometry used to be specialized for a long time, but yesterday he just wrote me, because I'm dealing with, your crazy stuff, but totally different, rookie. And he just said, don't make any decisions you can't change. And I was like, oh, good advice.
Yeah.
Like, looking at Strava, you're like, these people are riding 6 hours. Should I? Oh, no. Like, I have a black eye and I just got a mountain bike. Probably shouldn't. So it's like, don't make decisions you can't change. Like, don't go and, like, dig yourself in a hole. Like, rest is usually, right? You and I will probably agree. Like, rest, recover, like, money's in the bank. Like, there's nothing you're going to do in the next 5 days besides make sure your bike works. Is that right?
I agree. Yeah. And that you're rested. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And control your controllables. So it's like, do you eat well? Do you sleep well? Did you prepare as best as you can? Sick kid, you know, you just did, you know, a bunch of crazy stuffs and travel, you know, all that happens. It's like control your controllables. I don't know. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I assume that's kind of like your mantra.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that's one of my mantras. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rose, maybe you could share with our audience a little bit about how you balance, you know, pro athletic life with being a pro mom as well. I mean, that's extremely difficult because you have to invest a tremendous amount of time into your training, but you also want to invest a tremendous amount of time into your child as well. So how do you find that balance, and how's that, you know, how's that worked for you so far leading? I mean, I see Layla's with you right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I just accept and am very happy with the fact that my life and the way that I do things is different than most of my peers. And I wouldn't want it any other way, even though a lot of times it doesn't seem ideal to performance. But I have been able to figure out a way to do activities with her and balance it in a way that it doesn't seem to hinder me that much. And she respects what I do. She understands what I do. She's 8. And so it is that balance, but you know, we enjoy life. You know, we're going to ski in the winter. We spend countless days at the lake and on the river in the summer. I love the sun. I spend a lot of time in the sun because I like it, you know, and I'm just not willing at this point in my career to just have a tunnel vision on performance and racing. Because, you know, happy racers go fast too. So
exactly.
And if she's happy, then I'm happy. And so, you know, I don't hesitate to get help, childcare if I need to. And she's in school during the school year. So, and I don't work, you know, another job necessarily. So I do feel really lucky and blessed that I do have this life. And she's been an easy kid, like for the most part. Yes, she takes attention, but it's also a beautiful thing because it draws the attention away from, or the focus away from myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, I don't know, you know, getting to experience being a mom and seeing the world through a child's eyes is something that, yeah, I just feel so fortunate that I get to do that and race. So we make it work. And, you know, and it always has. I don't know how exactly, but the stars have aligned to just, there's a flow, you know, and there are days absolutely when things kind of hit the rocker. It's not always related to her, but even today I went out to drive to Leadville and I had a flat tire, you know, and it's like, just like those constant adjustments and being flexible with parenthood and in life in general is just like a very valuable skill.
For sure. There's a lot in your answer that I want to unpack later when we talk about female role models in both of your lives, maybe your athletic lives and your personal lives too. And just ironically, I was texting with Pete Stetna prior to this because I want to talk about his event later, which has to do with women's like parity and equal prize money in sport. And I asked him how his prep was going, and he just said it's not as smooth as I was hoped. So he's run into some hangups too. So even the pros, right, have blips in real life that get in the way of their training. But speaking of training and practice, Allie, like let's get real here, right? You haven't really been on a mountain bike that many times, correct? And I'm not trying to poke fun or anything. It's just the reality.
No, the reality is correct. I don't, Rose, I don't have a kid, but I have a full-time job, but I've done that for my whole career. So that's why it's big old do work, ride bikes, because it's like ride bikes, not race bikes for me. Like, yeah, I like to ride real fast, but I work a lot. And no one really knew that. Like, I'm in Europe just like 2 a.m., like doing freaking business and like racing UCI. And no, I'm terrified of mountain bikes. I've been on a mountain bike the last 2 days. Well, because I crashed, so I got a black eye, like stuffed chin,
I didn't want to bring that up that you had road rash because we were going on text.
I have road rash everywhere, and I need to go to dinner in 45 minutes. And I'm like,
yeah, we'll be done.
I need to get Blaze, like, do I take a Durham? Do I do like the mummy thing? I don't know.
Oh.
No, it was just like a stupid training crash. So it's like, it wasn't even on my mountain bike, Rose. Don't worry. Although I might, walk something if I'm scared. And there is like a slight chance I don't race if I don't get medically cleared. So there is that, but I plan to be there. Anyway, so my I have a mountain bike now, so I got it. I've ridden it. I just got a drop and seat post.
Do you know how to use it? Do you know how to use it?
All the time, like at stoplights. I just like roll up to the trucks, and I'm like, it's got that it's a SRAM, like the axis dropper, so it's like the same battery as the ETAP. So it's super sick, and you just like, I go up to the stoplight here in Boulder, because I'm in Boulder, Rose. I'm too scared to go up to 9,000 feet. Like, this is a lot for me.
Boulder's high.
Yeah, no, this is as high as I'm going. I meant to pre-ride the course, which we can talk about later, but then I crashed, and I couldn't. I was going to go pre-ride, just pipeline and, stuff this weekend, but this whole thing happened, and low oxygen. So I'm actually going to go and ride the course without riding. Like, I'm going to ride the course on Saturday with you. Like, I will see you at the finish line. I hope we can have a beer. But I am never going to see the course. And I'm kind of terrified about that. But yet I'm choosing health over, like, result, right? Like,
right.
Driving with, like, freaking road rash 2 hours to go and, like, ride at 10,000 feet.
Not worth it.
Right. Yeah.
Control the controllables. Don't go up there.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not racing roads, right? Like, I just want to do this 200... Sorry guys.
You're okay. Keep going. I can hear you fine.
Yeah. So
I think you're gonna be just fine.
I'll be good. I just think I let all you guys go, and then I think I can try to find my groove, and I think I'll be fine. But mountain biking for me, as Yuri knows, is a new beast of its own. But I got one, and the dropper post. Yeah, I'm rolling up the stop signs, and I just like freaking slam it down. And I wait at stoplights. That's all I've got so far, but I'm doing great.
So part of tonight was going to be some advice. And so I'm going to give you one piece of advice, but then we're going to let Rose chime in because she's the reigning champion.
Yeah.
So my only advice. Yeah, don't listen to me because I've never actually raced Leadville. I've been there plenty of times.
I can't believe you're not going to be there for me.
I know. Sorry. I know. I'm really bummed. But use your dropper post at the top of Columbine for the big descent. You can get lower, you can rest, you can eat some food. That's my only piece of advice besides having tons of fun. But Rose, let's turn this over to you. Like, as a rookie, like, any pieces of advice for Allie?
Well, I was trying to think about this today, and you're like, hopefully it's funny. And I'm like, I am not funny. So I'm very serious. And my answers are going to be like, I want them to be very realistic. But I was like, well, I mean, Allie knows how to ride a bike. She knows how to do long races. She knows how to pace. She knows how to fuel. She knows, balance and cornering. And I mean, it might be a little different, but so what am I going to say?
Rose, like, maybe you can answer this. Sorry, Yuri, B-Bear's coming in.
No, that's okay. He can make a guest appearance.
B-Bear's doing lead boat too. So yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
That's Blaze. So Rose, sometimes, maybe this is a better response, but sometimes in cycling, because I'm a complete roadie and we all know that, but I'm, gravel queen or whatever. But like when I was being like a roadie, I feel like a cyclist like take these like technical hard things and they make them like these like pedestals of grandeur and like it's your freaking in Lord of the Rings or something. Like I'm racing road and I'm medaling at UCI races. And they're like, well, you should really need to work on your skills. You should try cyclocross, And then I win a cyclocross race. I win Unbound. And then they're like Leadville. So there's Powerline and then there's just like Twin Lakes. And if you're not at 240 when you get to Twin Lakes, and then there's Columbine. You think you're at the top, you're not. Why do cyclists do that to like ourselves? Like, why do we mystify it's just an effing climb? Now, we all should do...
It's a big effing climb, though.
I tell you, no, you guys are all right. But also, like, it's just riding your bike. So I appreciated that. But can you maybe demystify Leadville for us?
You want me to explain like the course for
No,
you?
not
Since
really.
you're not
I'll
going to
get
see
terrified.
it. Well, the dropper post is going to be good, and the two-way traffic is going to be scary.
That's on Columbine.
That's Columbine.
I'm terrified of that, actually, because I don't like people that much.
Yeah, I'm just like, and I don't take unnecessary risks either. I'm too old, and I've been broken too many times. And so I'm going to be like I'll be careful. Last time I was really careful. And the fact that you have to stay on a certain side of the road, like you can't just follow the line, makes it really challenging. But the other thing that you mentioned that I have thought a lot about is when somebody else describes a course to you, like you were saying, like you have Columbine, and it sounds really scary and really daunting. And when you see it for yourself, your perception could be really different. I mean, it is big, but I mean, I've done that multiple times. Like, oh, have you seen the Rock Garden, or have you seen the Drop? And you get there and it's like, oh, this is the feature? Like, okay, I can do this. So yeah, it's not worth getting any of that in your head. Like you're just gonna, as you get there, you're just gonna work through it like you do in every other race you do.
Yeah, control your controllables. We'll go with that. And Levi, SRAM, I'm going to go with Specialized, but I know Rose will say something different, but Specialized has got my heart. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I like it, Allie. You're seeing the questions coming up too.
Yeah,
so
and the
good.
other question is like, is there something like there is too much overthinking? And I think that goes back to what Rose and I are now taglining is control your controllables. And it's like, you do you ride bikes, you eat, drink, you pace. Rose is going to be crushing it. I'm going to be like, I don't know, riding. And I think I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, because you're going to have fun.
Like, this goes now, Yuri, you can like kind of pivot into your next question, but it's like, I'm not scared to show the, human side of the sport. And if I get scared and I want to unclip and walk, like freaking
no shame in that.
Unclip and walk.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If anyone knows what I've been through, like traumatic brain injuries and hence the black eye, I'm terrified. So I want to make sure I'm like, okay, and so there is that chance, but, so it's about, just humanizing the sport. And I think Rose does that great. I mean, she's balancing motherhood and racing at this elite level, and she excels at very high altitude races, and long distance. So I've been watching her for a while, but and just like seriously, Rose, you inspire me. So yeah, like just don't overthink it. And then how much pressure are we putting on ourselves, says Jim. For me, that's Blaze. He does my support all the time. He's wonderful. And so for us, like we're just trying to finish 246 or I don't know, 51, I don't know, whatever miles we're doing in 2 days. Like we're like just prepping to ride my first mountain bike race and then ride 150 miles the next day on gravel. So Rose, how much pressure are you putting on yourself?
Well, I'm trying not to. And almost all the time I've gotten a lot better about like, it doesn't matter how I do, like really in the long run, results aren't that important. And, like there's so much value outside of that, but I mean, because everyone else expects me to do good, it's kind of harder, honestly, like for this specific event. But I'm trying not to put pressure on myself because it doesn't matter. Because once you get out there,
Ooh,
we're losing.
Internet
Little
Carbondale
internet.
or wherever she is.
Down in Copper
Okay,
Mountain.
Next question. Go for it.
Oh, if you can hear us, you are clipping out a little bit. Bummer. Well, Allie, let's shift the conversation here. Let's pivot until we get Rose back, hopefully, to the larger topic that we wanted to discuss, which was how do we get more women into bikes? And there's a lot of topics we can sort of dive into here, but I wanted to start with, were there any influential women in your life that encouraged you to get into sports when you started your athletic career, or are there currently any women, and they don't necessarily have to be sports related, that inspire you to sort of help break barriers and things like that in a sport that is, you know, seen as kind of male dom. What's that? Yeah,
Super bro.
Definitely. Yeah, super bro. Yeah, go ahead.
It's cool. Yeah, so for those that don't know me, I grew up on a cattle ranch, so not a lot of organized sports, so didn't have a lot of sport icons necessarily growing up until I found tennis in high school and then college. So I played NCAA tennis. So it's so cool because Serena Williams is still playing, and there's a poster still in my childhood bedroom of Serena Williams, and she's older than me, but the fact that like she's still rocking it, and then I became a professional like athlete as well later is crazy. My mom, like pre-Title IX, just running. My dad played football for UCLA. My mom went to UCLA, but women's sports weren't a thing, so she ran club. And then to get into gravel, you know, Yuri, you know this story. It's like you and frickin' Rebecca Rush. Like, just come join gravel. We have beers. Like, we have fun. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like getting cow shit up my nose, racing in Belgium in the spring. I want to go and like freaking have fun.
Yeah.
And then now, like, I don't know, give or take if gravel's still fun, but you know, we find events that are fun, but you know, sometimes it gets a little gnarly now, but gravel's rad. And so I think it's just icons that like, there's a quote that's about, you know, choosing your own lane. And once you like choose your own race, you win. And I think that's what it's about. Like, which Rebecca and you have done. You're like, I don't know, like everyone's racing like pro tour. Everyone's racing this or like mountain bike. And you're like, I want to do 24-hour and have snacks and like have my wife there and my dog. And then you just like choose your own race and then you freaking win. And it's not even winning the race, is you're just winning the concept. And so for me, that's what like lead boat is, and then gravel is. Like back to what before we lost Rose, it doesn't matter results sometimes. Like you just like choose your own lane and then you win. And I think those are my icons, are these athletes that just were like, I see those constructs, I see those stipulations, those stereotypes, like girls don't ride long distances, girls can't. I finished top 10 at Unbound, set the record. They're like, oh no, girls can't go that fast.
Well, I love it that you say that, and I'm going to step outside of cycling right now, but you know some of these athletes. This year at Western States, you know, one of the most iconic runs in the world, there were 3 women that placed in the top 10 overall, which had never been done before, too. So you talk about like breaking down stereotypes or perceptions of what can or can't be accomplished. And we're seeing women sort of push through these ceilings, right, and prove that they are able to compete on the same playing field, if not better than most men. And I think that's helping sort of push the boundaries and hopefully lift the tent up a little bit more, right, to make our sport, particularly cycling, more inclusive and you know, available to more folks out there.
Yeah, but I don't like
to
make it about like men versus women or men versus female identifying or however you would identify. Like, I don't like to make it a competition about like, yeah, like I placed top 10 at Unbound, you know, dudes included, right? And Western States. But I think there's something bigger than that. It's just like show up, go as hard as you can and challenge yourself. Like there's something bigger, and it's about, I don't know, just challenging yourself. And yeah, constructs are there and there's rules and, you know, like we're all like figuring that out. But that's where I kind of get a little like trepidatious. It's just that I'm like don't like tell me I beat so many guys, because like I want them to go as hard as they can. I want to go as hard as I can. I don't know if I really care.
Yeah.
Because like what I want to do is like, we see Brandy on here and she's so lovely, and hi Brandy. But like I just wanted about going hard, or if you don't want to go hard, don't go hard. Because I actually got a woman came up with something, because I say, you know, we all say the party bus, you know, like, oh, I'm at the party bus. And somebody wrote me on Instagram and they're like, hey, by the way, like I'm working really hard to be your party bus. So like, don't just credit me. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's a good point. And I said, the party bus is about a state of mind. It's just that you're not trying to like you're winning the day. Don't get me wrong, but you're not winning the race. Yeah. And so like, I want to like be fair to that, like where, you know, we get more accepting. I don't know. Well, I'm sure you understand.
No, I do. It becomes more about the completion, right? The camaraderie than the competition. And that, I think, is one of the things that you and I have both found really welcoming and exciting about discovering gravel, is that for the most part, events, the big events that we've gone to for the past, 8 or 9 years, are more about the camaraderie and the completion of it, right? The adventure of being out there, and less about the competition. Which is one of the reasons why I think we've seen explosive growth in the gravel segment. I want to ask you about, are there, any programs that you have actually participated in or worked in to help break down barriers to get more women or girls involved in cycling, or any youth sport program that specifically target, women? What have you seen in your years of being an athlete?
I think it goes back to what I was saying on humanizing this sport, where when Rebecca was the first person that told me to do Unbound, and I'm like, oh God, like I don't ride dirt, like I'm terrified, all this, and for her to be like, ego aside, I can beat her, I can take her record, like all the threat aside, women supporting women, where she was like, dude, come on. She's like helping me like pick my tire pressure, prepare my bike. And so I think like it's just women supporting women, or female identifying athletes, or whatever, like whatever space you're in, whether it's a person of color or diversity, it's just like people supporting each other. And where like Yuri, when you line up to a race, you are not like, hey bro, like, ooh, that looks, no, I'm not going to change that because I want to beat your ass. Like, like it's like you actually just helping people, but not like mansplaining, not like romancing, you know what I mean? Like there's a line, but you like genuinely want to help people and make them better. And so Rebecca was very huge for me. And then it was into like working with your wife, Vanessa.
That's what I was kind of getting at, the GRIT program, because, NICA, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, has this program called GRIT, which stands for Girls Riding Together. And I know you have participated. Oh, hang on. Rose is trying to get back in. We got Rose back, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to let her back in here. Let's see what happens there. Yay! Sorry, Rose. But
I was trying to get back on.
Oh, I know. I didn't see. I thought I kept sending you requests, and then anyway, you're back, and we've sort of moved on now to talking about ways, just to give you a little heads up on ways that we can get more women into sport, and then we'll be talking more about like specific things that we've seen through certain gravel events and cycling events the past few years that have helped with that. And I was just bringing up this program called GRIT, which is Girls Riding Together, which is sponsored by the National Interscholastic Cycling Association. Allie has participated in a camp. I know, Rose, that you have a NICA league now. Montana has, run by Sam Schultz, a former pro road racer or mountain bike racer, and Jeff Kendallweed. So if you haven't already, will have opportunities, I'm sure, to mentor and help kids get on board. But Allie, can you maybe tell us about your GRIT experience?
Yeah, so I see Meg, I love you. Meg Fisher, guy, freaking legend. God, I can't wait to see you next week or in 5 days, whether or not I race or not. But my experience with GRIT is Yuri's, let's just say better half Yuri, sorry, but
yep,
Vanessa,
I'd agree.
Vanessa Oswald, she runs NorCal High School Cycling League. And so for all of you, and there's a lot of you, Team Beer Guts, I know you, like bought bandanas. And so with buying the bandanas, we did 5 GRIT scholarships, which is Girls Riding Together. Woo! And I got to attend this camp, Rose, and you would have cracked up because so these girls got to come, and then all my sponsors, like Specialized Lasagna Chamois Butter, like they got like kits and care packages. They show up to the camp and scholarship to race in NorCal High School Cycling League. So thank you everybody that's tuning in, because I recognize all these names. But these girls just were out riding, and they were doing what's it called, like sessions when you like
like little skill sessions and stuff on the
and
pump track.
Like, I'll just watch you. Yeah, no, it's cool. I got like my mountain bike, and they're like, let's just do this switchback again. I was like, no, I think I'm good. Let me just take some photos. Because one time I crashed, Rose. But anyway, my experience was these young female identifying athletes like walk in, and we were able to give them scholarships along with the 20 other athletes out there with Yuri's wife and these amazing coaches, and their body language as they transform through the weekend and getting that confidence to go and tackle courses and finding that camaraderie, which is what, Rose, you missed, but we have camaraderie anyway. And so it was just this incredible experience. And NICA to me, and especially NorCal High School Cycling League, because I can ride with them because they're in my backyard. So similar to the Montana one for you, Rose. Like, it was just super cool to go ride with these athletes, these student athletes, and just shred some dirt and also like pay their way, because like cycling, like which Yuri we can get into, which is one of the obstructions, it's really a cost prohibitive sport. So to be able to get 5 scholarships, be like, here's clothes, here's everything you need to ride a bike, now get on a bike, like have fun, you know?
That's
so thanks
really
all for buying bandanas. We
totally super empowering. Saga Ventures, for those of you curious out there to get some bandanas, if you want to help support Allie's efforts to get more girls riding bikes, more scholarships. Rose, speaking of girls and scholarships, you have an 8-year-old daughter, right?
Yes.
Who's obviously very active and aware of you as a pro athlete. How much of that life does she understand? How much do you share with her? How much do you push her towards sports, or do you not push her towards sports? I'm just curious how you find that balance, because we hear so many times of young children being pushed into sports with, the typical like little league parent like mentality of like, get all the awards, get all the accolades, get the scholarships, but that can lead to burnout. So I'm wondering if you could share some insights on how you're navigating those waters with an active 8-year-old. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty aware and just sensitive to, I don't want her to resent what I do. And that includes like me being away and her coming with me, and just, so I think it's just, I try to keep it just fun in a lot of ways. And I'm just aware, I think. And as she gets older, it changes. But we do a lot of different sports. We definitely do not focus on cycling specifically. We do jujitsu and gymnastics and skiing and
you paddleboard. I see you guys paddleboard.
We're at the lake all the time. And so I think just, I want her to be well-rounded, and I don't want her to ever feel like I would be disappointed with her if she didn't perform well. And that if she doesn't like it, or she doesn't want to do some like bike riding, like I don't want her to do it. Like I want her to do whatever makes her happy. So we're just in the phase of kind of navigating like all these different activities, and I just want to help her find her way, for what she enjoys and what she's talented at doing. And I mean, she's a very athletic kid, and she probably could choose anything and be very successful at it. So, I just want her to know that my love is unconditional. Like I'm not gonna put pressure on her, to perform or anything. And I definitely, I think that could be a real like game changer in our relationship if I was like, if I talk about resentment, if I pushed her to be a good bike rider, like, cause that's what I do. She's gonna hate it.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's actually a little race just down here. I think it's right near Frisco on Wednesday night. They have a kids race, and I was just asking her in the car on the way home from camp this evening if she would want to do it, and she said no. I said, that's fine.
Yeah.
Think about it though, think about it. Just because you had a bad experience last time doesn't mean, maybe you just need to try again. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, and she does have a competitive drive. She runs cross country in the spring and she loves that. And so yeah, we'll just, yeah, I think it's all, everything. Just
Yeah.
experience it all and have fun. And yeah, if she wants to pursue competition later, like, and my parents never pushed me or ever, like, sometimes I kind of wish I would have had a little bit more help and direction and encouragement to do things.
Yeah.
Because maybe I would have found things earlier in life, but yeah, or gone to college to play something like you did, Allie, with tennis, right?
Yeah, my parents pushed me. I mean, they didn't push me for tennis. They're wonderful though. They just pushed me to be like the best version of myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, my dad played football, so like I got the shoulders, but I'm not playing football. Like, I mean, times are changing, but I don't need that much. It turns out that's really bad for cycling, so I'm not the lightest cyclist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just my parents basically saying like, be the best you can be, or like change it.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing the
and
best?
That's good.
Like, do you have regrets? If I got like an A- and I was like, I did the best I could, then they're like, rad. By the way,
that's
like,
a lesson.
Like, yeah.
That's a lesson I tried to teach to my elementary school kids all the time. For those that don't know, I taught elementary school for 11 years, first, second, third grade, 8-year-olds being my favorite. I think Layla's going into third grade. Yeah.
Yes.
And I used my racing as an example of doing your personal best, because I rarely won races. And for littles, right, it's very black and white for them. Like, you're either a winner or you're a loser. And I was always the loser, but I tried to turn that into a lesson to my students about personal best, things you guys are talking about, and controlling the controllables, right? Finding out your weaknesses, taking steps to working towards those. And, if you did everything you could and you got a B+ on that quiz, like, that's awesome. And that was your personal best. Rose, you missed part of our conversation, and I'm just curious if you had any female role models growing up. You said your parents didn't push you that much, and they don't necessarily have to be sports related, but do you have any sort of role models that have helped, like, push you in the direction that you're going now, or folks that you look up to currently?
I mean, definitely there's been women that inspire me to do my best, and a lot of those have just been, well, probably Chloe is one of them, honestly, Chloe Woodruff.
Yeah.
Just because I'm good friends with her, and
you were teammates,
like, walk through a lot of valleys, and experience a lot of victories. And we've walked through a lot of valleys together, or we've taken turns. Like, when she's in a valley, like, I'm doing well, I'm kind of on a mountain, and when I'm in a valley, she's been on a mountain. And so just to have, like, close friends like that has been amazing. Katarina Nash,
legend.
Like the legend, I feel like. And but I wouldn't say I was really aware of any of those women, and really, I grew up pretty sheltered, so I don't feel like I knew a lot of, like, those kinds of sport people, but aunts and uncles and brothers. My brothers inspire me a ton, honestly. And just encouraging each other, and really outside of sport and cycling, a lot of it is. So just to have, it's not always performance related, like, I think it just goes so much deeper than that.
It, for sure, right? It needs to stay fun, which was one of the questions that Cindy had asked. I saw she came on when we were talking about,
we love Cindy.
This balance of, keeping it fun and not getting burnt out, not pushing our children too hard to go into sports, letting them find their own path, letting them experience as many sports as possible to find what path it is that they do enjoy. I want to, like, be conscious of time, because Allie, I know you have a dinner date at 6:00. But we're seeing more events in the last 4 or 5 years, like Rebecca's Private Idaho, SBT Gravel, events like Unbound, right? Do really specific concerted efforts to try to get more women into the sport, whether it's, allocating extra entries, right, for women, hosting women's panels. This was the reason why I was texting with Pete Stetna prior to this, because if for those out there in the audience who aren't familiar with his pay to earn event, he's flipped the script on a typical race formats, and it's only the pro women who will get a pro prize purse this year, and the men will get no cash, and that's never the case. So I'm wondering if you guys have like any experience with events like that, or see other events doing things that, or just share ways that you think we can be more inclusive and get more women into these sports of all body shapes and sizes. Because, you know, Shimano this year did that amazing video called all Bodies on Bikes, which was really well done and needed. So we're really starting to see a shift, I think, in a positive direction of you know, being more inclusive and accepting all folks into the cycling tent, particularly in the gravel world, it seems like. So I just threw a lot at you. I'm going to start with you, Rose, since you missed some of our conversation earlier.
Well,
but go ahead.
I mean, I know if you're shooting for women, like amateur women, how many of those women have young kids, do you think?
A lot.
And I mean, that's just very real part of my life. That is definite. I mean, yeah, it's a struggle. Like, I would say that could be a barrier to racing specifically. Especially if, you know, the partner races also, those responsibilities in general fall on the mother.
Yeah, no, that's so true.
So to make a family-friendly event, I think, is really important. And whether it be organizing like a group for the moms that are attending to support each other leading up to the race, where really the race isn't responsible for any kind of childcare, but like like just kind of joining forces, I think, to do your pre-rides and like just have your kids accounted for. And then, I don't know, you know, it could go really far beyond that with kids mountain bike camps during the event. But if there was like some kind of childcare during the actual race, I think that would be really big. I don't know how many people would agree with me, but
the comments are saying yes, Rose.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Cool.
very real. That's a very real
so
roadblock.
Like, that is a huge barrier. Like, you know, and I think the demographic of women that you're targeting that you'd really like to see, I mean, anyone, but, you know, are going to be between, I don't know, late 20s to into the 40s. And they have, most of them have younger kids. So what do you do with the kids, I think?
That's a really amazing point that, you know, I've never really thought about.
Too, is a majority of the race promoters are men. And
except
I love you guys.
Steamboat,
You're
Amy
amazing.
Yeah. No, that is true. We agreed earlier that this is a very bro heavy space, unfortunately, but I would argue that we are seeing a lot more women at the helms of races, which is rad. And I just want to give them a shout out. Like Allison said, Amy Charity at SBT, Rebecca Rush. We have Jess
Christy.
Sarah in your backyard.
Oh yeah, yes.
Right, Christy Moan. We have Gabby Shelton, who's helping do the Big Sugar. We have Laura King, who's also a mom who does Rooted. So we're seeing there's not enough women promoters, don't get me wrong, but we're seeing more and more of them helping. And I think they're helping to hopefully change these realities that are barriers to entry for women. But yeah, it is pretty bro heavy still. So maybe we can all work together to try to change that. Allie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think Rose, like I said, like I've got the like big full-time job, like trying to like get my teeth kicked in every weekend at events, which I appreciate Rose calls them events because I refuse to call them races because I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm just like riding. Like, let's just ride. You know, and so and Rose did it. I heard you, Rose. You said events. Yeah. I'm good with that. And I go with events because I'm not like I go as hard as I can, but I don't. So for me, coming and I appreciate your acceptance, Rose, when you're looking at the demographic, and Girls Gone Gravel has done a wonderful job, and you know, inclusivity and bringing them in, and we've both been on their podcast and worked closely with that crew. And I'm happy always to give them space because of this really engaged audience that I love. And honestly, for me, it's just, I love to ride my bike, and I love to ride like sometimes really hard, sometimes not hard. And that like comes with all sorts of, you know, sentiments and comments along the way that make me feel bad about myself or really good about myself, depending on the day. But like being able to just shred gravel locos with Jess Sarah, and we're just shredding, man. And we're like, we're second and third place, and we're like, dude, you want to race? Nah, do you? Well, let's just keep shredding. And we decided to tie and not kick our teeth in. But yet we like got the best workout ever. To me, that just made me so happy. So it's like giving that place for women to show up. And we like, and not saying we're weak. Holy cow, I can ride my bike mother effing fast. But like,
I will attest to that, both you guys. Yes, you're not weak. No way.
I don't want to show up and Rose not say hi to me because she wants to like smash my head into like the freaking rock in Leadville, right? Like Rose is gonna say hi and give me a hug and tell me good luck. I probably won't see her again, but in other events, possibly, you know, the script changes, right? But like, I think it's about accepting each other and not being like, I'm not gonna acknowledge you, or I'm not gonna tell you my secrets. What's my tire pressure? Oh, I don't know. Like, what's my nutrition strategy? Did you know there's this rock drop? Like, I think like so many times, like we don't support each other. And so for me, this community about getting more women is about like, not being like, oh, we're doing this so much hard work. This is so hard. Did you guys want to join? Oh, it's really hard. Like, you know, not alienating what we're doing. Like, to me, that makes me like the sport more. I don't know. Like,
make it sound like it's fun. Like people want to enjoy it. Like you're not always out there suffering or kicking each other in the teeth the whole time. Because who's going to want to join that? Yeah.
I raced road long enough. Like when I get freaking echelon, I like to start heckling. I'm like, really? It's been 12 years. Like I did that for 12 years. Like don't throw me in a gutter right now. Like make space for me. Come on. You know, and I like heckle. Because I think like that's what it should be. It's about making space for everybody. And I think we've done a good job. Like it's not saying like you can't race, you can't win, you can't do the best you can, but make space for other people to actually like rise to the occasion.
I also think, you know, it's being approachable like you two are, right? And I can just see
I'm still nervous about meeting Rose. Don't get me wrong.
Okay. Well, you guys will be fine. You guys are going to love each other. But like, but seeing all the comments, I mean, obviously you guys have loyal followings and folks who love you. And that's partly because of how you guys present at events, right? You're just talking about being more inclusive and open. It's like being friendly and nice to everyone, no matter how fast or slow you are, just encourages more people to want to join. But I want to bring this to a close because I know, Allie, you've got to get going here. And Rose, I've taken up an hour of your evening and you probably have to go feed Layla or something like that too. So I want to
Blaze. It's okay. It's really work.
Well, he's capable.
Always hungry.
Yeah, that's weird. But I just want to thank you both for your time and for being such amazing ambassadors for the sport and for encouraging more women to become part of this sport and doing what you guys can, whether it's through grit or helping at the Montana High School League, which is so rad that's in your backyard, where Layla could someday, if she decides to continue riding her bike. You know, I have a niece who's 11 who is looking at women like you, and she's really into cycling, and someday she could be in the NorCal League too. So I just want to thank you for all that you guys do to be so encouraging and such great role models out there. And it's an honor for me to say that I get to work with you as your athlete manager. You know, it really is fun to watch what you guys do and be a part of that and cheer you on. I'm wishing you both well. Allie, have so much fun on your mountain bike. Okay. It's going to be fun. And Rose, do what you do. You know how to do
Rose,
that race.
win. Just win for me. Win for me.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure, right? Yeah.
No pressure. And just have so much fun. And I'll be cheering from you guys from here. But I'm going to sign off. I'm Yuri Hauswald with Yakkin with Yuri with Goo Energy Labs. Click the link in the bio if you want to see what the feed is doing. They have Leadville Specific Nutrition from us if you want to get some last minute goodies, or you can go by the Goo House, which is just down from the start line in the town of Leadville. Go and ask for Celia. Go see Celia. She'll set you up. Give her a high five. But until I see you guys next, have so much fun, and bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.